Good evening, Nigeria, and welcome to Politics Now, your trusted platform for dissecting the nation's most pressing political stories. I'm Morno Balagbubu, live from our studio here in Abuja. Well, tonight we have a packed hour diving into two seismic issues that's shaking Nigeria's political core. The first major thing we will tackle tonight is EFCC's dramatic detention of former Sokoto Governor Aminu Tambuwal over alleged 189 billion naira fraud. And of course, we're asking the question, is this anti-corruption fight or political witch hunt? Let's give you a rundown of our talking points. First, we'll touch on the legitimacy of the EFCC's probe. We'll also look at the political implications of opposition and the 2027 elections. We'll talk about public trust in anti-corruption institutions. Our guest tonight is Peter Ekavwo. He is a legal expert, also public affairs analyst, and he's live with me right now on set. Let me say hi to him. Thank you so much, Peter, for being on the show tonight.
Thank you for having me.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you so much for being with us. Well, later on to the show tonight, we will look at the fiery controversy that is surrounding the River State's local government elections set for August 30th. That's right. So the question we're asking tonight is, democracy under fire or a path to stability? Here is a rundown of our talking points. We'll talk about the legality of the August 30th elections amid emergency rule. We'll also look at the federal-state power tensions and political motives. We'll look at the voter impact and the risk of violence. Our guests are all joining us live from River State, Nigeria. We'll be speaking to a PDP member, a staunch supporter of Governor Fubara, Newman Ogbonda, and of course, he is a member of the Governor Fubara Simplified movement. We would also be speaking to a regular on our show, Zoe Solomon Tamunotoye. He is a developmental activist and the national president of the Rivers Emancipation Movement. And also we'll have Tamunokuro Opusunju, a political analyst. Now, before we delve into the business of the day, let's tell you that the aviation sector is under fire as two high-profile incidents. The first one, the Fuji Legend K1, the ultimate clash with ValueJet, and Comfort Emanson's ordeal with Ibom Air, which sparked outrage over fairness and justice. Why the starkly, outcomes tonight, we'll dig deep with our legal expert, of course, Mr. Peter, who is live with us. So for those not following these complex stories, don't worry, we've got you covered. We will break them down clearly as our guests will have a chance to join the conversation. We also put up a poll on our social media platform on X. So buckle up. This is politics at its most intense moment. Do stay with us. We'll dive in shortly. So let's get with the drama. On August 5th, K1 allegedly disrupted the ValueJet flight at Abuja's airport. His initial 6-month flight ban was slashed to 1 month. Charges were dropped and he was even offered an ambassador role for airport conduct. Just a moment ago on X platform, the Minister of Aviation, Festus Keyamo, was trying to make a justification. And he's been quite diplomatic in the way he has handled the whole situation so far, according to people that have been speaking with just before the show. Now, contrast that with Comfort Emanson, accused of assaulting Ibom Air crew on the 10th of August. She was arrested and detained at the Kirikiri prison, facing a lifetime ban. Of course, later the ban was lifted. Earlier this morning, we all saw the post of the Minister for Aviation. So, Mr. Peter, the NCCA says Ibom Air pressed charges while ValueJet didn't. So, is this just a legal technicality or does it point to inconsistent enforcement? How do you unpack what has played out so far?
Yeah, I want to think that the issue is an issue of inconsistency. Because when you say press charges,
yes,
sometimes we misuse that term. The duty to file a criminal charge in a court of law rests with the security agencies, either the police, the EFCC, the Ministry of Justice, and what have you. It is not a matter for a private organization, in this case in Lagos State, for it is not the airline operator that files a criminal charge against a citizen. When it comes to a criminal charge, what I'm trying to explain is that it is the government that files a criminal charge. So the issue of saying it is because one airline operator did not press charge or charges, that is the reason why this case is different, it's not correct.
Okay, so if airlines decide to faces punishment, does the system risk favoring the influential? And what needs to change? Because that has been the conversation for days now.
So what I just said earlier on was that narrative that it is because one airline operator pressed charges and the other did not. That is the reason why we saw the inconsistency. I'm saying that position is wrong. Why do I say so? I'm saying that it is the states, any crime, it is the state that prosecute. It is the state that prosecute criminal complaints. It is not the individual. If, for example, I come to steal your property, it is not you that will file a criminal charge against me. It is the state on your behalf. So the airline operator, under our laws, cannot file a criminal charge against anybody. So that narrative is not correct. The institution that filed criminal charge against the lady is not that airline operator. It is the government. So that position is not correct. It's just a case of favoritism, a case of trying to oppress the weak, a case of a big man commits an offense, a poor person commits an offense, we allow the big man to go, and then we use the poor person quote.
And the big man is about to get an ambassadorial deal with the government.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about the allegations of gender now and status bias. You know, Nigerians on X, even I think on Instagram yesterday, one of my favorite chefs, she's an influencer. I mean, she's never one to talk about politics, and she was really concerned and not really justifying Comfort's actions, so to speak, but like, I mean, how do we get so low, like, the whole exposure, and the embarrassment that she had to do with. Now, you look at Senator Nedede Usman calling out what they see as bias. K1, a celebrity with ties to President Tinubu, got a slap on the wrist, while Emerson faced prison and shockingly reports of being stripped naked by aviation security. So now this issue of gender bias, we are men, but I mean, women will feel the way they feel and they are entitled to speak. So let's talk about it. So does this reflect gender or status bias? I mean, you're clear on your position on status now. So let's talk about gender bias.
I do not see gender bias in this whole thing that's happened.
But I mean, there are a lot of women who are making that decision.
What is the evidence of that bias? What is the evidence of gender disparity? I can't see it, except if they come out and explain to us.
If you imagine the situation to be a man, you think it would have escalated to the level that it did?
Honestly, I think so. I think this is not an issue of gender bias. I think this is issue of status bias, if we use that word. I do not see, first of all, the issue that happened with that lady is even between a lady to another lady. It was a lady that allegedly assaulted another lady. And then I do not think the airline took that action. I don't want to hold brief for them, but I don't think they took that action because she's a lady. For the issue of Kwame, we know what has happened, status symbol. He's a big man, he's somebody known. So they are afraid to take serious actions against him.
The question is, if MS's rights were violated, what legal resources does she have, and how can we prevent such treatment in the future?
Legal remedy, she can file a civil action in court. She can seek remedies, damages, against the company if she feels that her right has been violated. Maybe her freedom of movement had been curtailed by the airline and what have you. She has a lot of civil remedies that she can resort to, But from where we are, I don't think she want to do that, because I mean, she also committed some infractions too.
Now, let's look at the bigger picture here now. I mean, there are a lot of people that say they lack trust in the governance system, especially the aviation sector. Now, what legal reforms are needed to ensure fairness and to rebuild confidence in Nigeria's aviation sector?
Yeah, first, at this point, it's good to commend the Minister of Aviation, Mr. Festus Keyamo, on the steps he has taken to ameliorate this situation. So talking about legal reforms, I think it is important that a charter of rights, bill of rights kind of, is made known to all passengers. Because when you enter an airline in Nigeria, when you enter the plane in Nigeria, usually they will tell you, they will brief you on security and safety remedies. In case of anything, use this, pass through this door, but nobody tells you your rights, your duties, your obligations. So I think it is now high time for us to now begin to bring that to the fore, to say, look, this is what you are supposed to do. If you don't do this, there's consequence. You know, there's need to break this down for everybody, so that both the airline user, the airline operator, everyone knows his or her rights, and then we conform to it. It will help.
So with the IGP of police now probing K1's case, could this set a precedent for stricter enforcement? His ban has been reduced to 1 month now, yes, and the whole ambassadorial deal. So, yes. I mean, what do you make of
see, the ambassadorial thing, I think Nigerians need to understand it. It's not a promotion. It's not a positive appointment. It's trying to say you have behaved badly, so you are going to be an ambassador to tell people not to behave badly. So it's not a promotion. It's not a.
But a lot of people are not seeing it that way. Anyway.
So we need to enlighten Nigerians. That is not a big. They are not going to pay you salary. They are not going to. It's a bad thing to say you have done this. Why did they give you the ambassadorial appointment? They gave you because you behaved badly. So it is a way of saying that, okay, instead of giving you stricter punishment, so help to tell people to behave properly. I think that's the whole essence of that.
All right. Yes. So let's get to the business of the day. Yes. I mean, you're a legal expert, of course. MDCU of the EFCC is also a legal practitioner. We want to talk about the EFCC's detention of Tambuwal anti-corruption or political witch hunts. That is the question that we are asking tonight. So we kick off with a story that set tongues wagging across Nigeria. Of course, on August 12, 2025, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission detained Aminu Tambuwal, a former Sokoto state governor and towering figure in the PDP. Now, the allegations are staggering 189 billion naira in fraudulent cash withdrawals during the 2015 to 2023 tenure. For those tuning in without the full picture, let's educate you on why this matters and why it is sparking heated debate. And you look at the breakdown that we have for you. I mean, looking at the talking points. First, the issue of the legitimacy of the EFCC's probe. The EFCC alleges Tambuwal orchestrated illegal withdrawals of 189 billion naira from the coffers of the state government, violating Money Laundering Act. Now, reports cite petitions from whistleblowers backed by bank records and witness accounts pointing to unauthorized financial channels. The agency insists this part of its mandate to tackle economic crisis, but critics question the timing. Why now, as 2027 election campaigns looms, and also lots of criticism towards the APC, and of course similar probes like that of the former Kogi governor Yaya Bello also have fueled accusations of selective justice. Well, second, the political implications for opposition political parties and 2027 elections. We've seen governors leaving their fold to go to the APC, and a lot of persons have alleged that these are moves to shield themselves from the prosecution of the EFCC. And Tambuwal, a former House Speaker and PDP presidential candidate in 2019 and 2023, is a northern powerhouse. His detention could splinter the PDP's unity and also weaken its strategy against the APC. But concerned Nigerians are calling this a deliberate move by President Tinubu's government to sideline opposition heavyweights. So if the charges stick, Tambuwal's career could be derailed. If dismissed, rather, it might galvanize PDP supporters crying foul. Lastly, the issue of public trust in anti-corruption institutions. A 2024 Transparency International survey found only 40% of Nigerians trust the EFCC's independence. The case has reignited skepticism, with some applauding the agency for tackling elite corruption, while others see it as a tool for the APC. And restoring trust requires transparent investigations and equal application of the law, but high-profile cases often stall deepening public cynicism. Well, we put up a poll on our X platform. You can check it out. We asked Tambuwal, is it genuine, politically motivated, or you're undecided? Well, you can be with us on our social media platform on X to check out the poll. Well, the result is there. Everybody says no, it's politics. And that is why we are having this question. So, Peter, now from a legal perspective, how robust does the EFCC's case against Tambuwal appear based on the reported 189 billion naira fraud allegations?
Okay, so to start this conversation, it is imperative that we inform and educate Nigerians that the EFCC is established by law to investigate acts of corruption and then to prosecute in court. Now, at this stage, what we have is in the realm of speculation, allegations. Unless those allegations are proven in a court of law, they are mere allegations.
Really speaking like a lawyer.
Yes, sir. they are merely allegations. Okay, and I think Nigerians should not be too bothered with these allegations until the evidence are presented in a court of law, and then the court makes a pronouncement on them. They are mere allegations. But I'm a bit worried with your poll. 100% of Nigerians believe that the arrest and the
It's political.
It's political. It's something that should worry us, sir. It's something that should worry Nigerians. That tells you the level of mistrust in an agency such as the EFCC. The people do not trust them. They believe these are another tool of government to witch hunt and chase political enemies. And you will not blame Nigerians too, because perhaps the EFCC has behaved in a manner that also, fuel this belief. That is the truth. Okay, so the EFCC has a right. They have a mandate under the EFCC Act to investigate acts of corruption. But they are mere allegations.
Okay, now, is the timing of this probe so close to 2027 coincidental? Or, does it suggest political motivations? I know you've answered the question, so let me ask you another one. So how might Tambuwal's detention reshape the PDP strategy and, of course, leadership dynamics for 2027 elections?
I think there's fire on the mountain. It will seem that the ruling party, the APC, they are not trying to go to their cupboard, clean up everything that they have, and then to come very hard on the opposition. I think that's what they want to do. But I would also say that if you are in the opposition and your hands are clean, you should not be scared of anything. And when it comes to the issue of corruption, my brother, we cannot hide under the fact that I'm in opposition. That's why they're after me. You cannot say that. Are you corrupt or you are not corrupt? The only thing that Nigerians should insist on is that the EFCC or any agency prosecuting anybody, whether a PDP or APC, is that they should follow the laws of the land. The rights of the suspect must be accorded him. For example, if you are arrested, you should not be detained more than 24 hours, at most 48 hours. So the idea of arresting people, keeping them in detention while you're investigating is a no-starter, it's a no-brainer.
And that's why the likes of Atiku Abubakar have been very vocal about this. But, let's talk about perception, because you seem pretty, shocked and dismayed by that poll, because everybody feel it's political, because we have members of the All Progressive Congress who have also served within those time periods that Tambuwal has also served. And those persons are still members of the PDP. Some of them are senators, some of them are lawmakers, some of them are governors. So, I mean, for the Nigerian public, they're just like, okay, I mean, it seems selective, so to speak, because if you want to probe politicians who served, I mean, because of immunity for governors, it will really be difficult to probe while in office. So how about the plethora of persons who served before? That is the thinking of most Nigerians. So how do you think the EFCC, as a government agency that's tasked with the sole responsibility of rescuing our country, Nigeria, from, immense corruption, what do you think? Because public trust is very important, because, I mean, that also tells on the credits the president has as against 2027. So what do you think needs to really change?
And what
You're impressed with what is going on so far?
No, definitely, I'm not impressed with what is going on. I'm not impressed. You see, taking a cue from what your analysis, I want to align with the position of most Nigerians that the FCC could have waited. They can wait. They can wait till after the elections to go after these persons, if need be. Because there's something we call in law statute of limitation, which means in civil matters, there's a time limit within which you can press for your rights in civil matters. But in criminal matters, such as corruption, there's no time limit. Even if you commit the offense 20 years ago, they can investigate it and charge you to court now. So why the hurry? So that is the reason that is fueling this perception, and it's not good for the system. And it should not show that the government is in panic mode. I'm talking of the APC government has failed Nigerians. Let's not look as if they're in panic mode, and anything that would make the opposition to shiver. That's what they want to do. Yeah. So I really think it is not a good time. It is not a good time. That's number one. Then number two, assuming without conceding that EFC think this is the right time to do this, there should be regular briefing of Nigerians on the situation. For example, they can come on air to say, we arrested Tambuwal in respect of this. We have accorded him his fundamental rights. His right has not been breached in any way. For example, I mean, we did not detain him more than 40. It's good. I hear that he has been released. Good. 24 hours. We allowed him his right to his lawyers. He was not maltreated in any manner. You brief Nigerians and you say that, I mean, we are going to take him to court at the appropriate time. So taking one to court is not a big deal. If your hands are clean, there should be no trouble. But I don't want to dismiss the perception of Nigerians, because Nigerians have a reason to feel so. 2027 is around the corner. So why now? That is the point. So EFCC should wait. There's no hurry. They can come in after 2 years or 3 years to probe this.
But rather than waiting,
Yes.
why not just do it side by side, like have everybody try it?
To be fair to them, it's difficult. They don't even have the resources, the manpower. Do you know how corruption is invasive in this country? It's pervasive in this country. If you want to pack everybody to the court, which court will contain everybody?
You're indicting your profession. Many will argue that lawyers, you are one of the perpetrators. I mean, one of those who aid persons to, go away with corruption.
How do you mean?
So,
How?
No, you know how I mean. You're a lawyer.
How do lawyers?
You're a lawyer.
Okay.
I mean, so your client comes to you and then tells you, okay, this is the deal. How do you get me out? So, I mean, lawyers are practically fixers nowadays. So, I mean, you need to defend your profession.
No, the truth of the matter, my brother, the truth of the matter is this, okay?
You agree that lawyers are fixers, right?
I don't agree. I don't agree. So the law itself also makes provision for defense to criminal charges, defense to criminal liability. So what lawyers typically do, and above all, the burden of proving a case, a charge, rests on the prosecution. So what lawyers simply do is to go to court and ensure that the prosecution proves his case beyond reasonable doubt. Lawyers are not to go to court and there's no manipulation you can make. The judge is not part of your shenanigan. His own is to take evidence from both sides. So what I'm trying to say, if the evidence against my client is so strong, there's nothing the lawyer can do. There's nothing so lawyers don't do that. Lawyers provide defenses which are provided under the law. That is what they simply do.
Okay, now let's speak regarding the Constitution. There's been a lot of chatter about constitutional review.
Yes.
What needs to change to enhance and uphold the fight against corruption?
What needs to change? First of all, we need to look at what are the things that are fueling corruption. Can we stop corrupt acts before they happen? So there's need for any amendment in that regard should look at stopping corruption before it happens.
Now, define the corrupt acts in terms of how it is practiced, if you could give us an example.
Oh dear, that is, we will not live here. So in Nigeria, the corruption is pervasive. It's so much. So people go there, they manipulate figures in government, they pad budgets, they sign figures, take contract, they will not do it, you collect bribe. So many things. There are too much in Nigeria. We all know them. We all know the corrupt acts in this country. Well, I don't think anybody is lost as to what corruption is. Okay, so I think that's not the problem. The real problem is how do we deal with it? How do we deal with it? So leadership recruitment is one of the first things we need to look at. Our electoral process is not serving the needs of Nigerians. There is actually need for us to actually have leaders who are accountable to the people. And then we have leaders who will show example to say, look, I'm not corrupt. I'm not corrupt. And if a leader has that type of moral courage, every other person will queue in the country will follow suit. You look at, for example, you hear of stuff like body language of President Buhari when he came in. For those few weeks, there was some decency, there was some order.
You said few weeks.
Yes, few weeks.
It didn't last.
Oh, no, it didn't last.
A particular
it didn't last at all. After a few, I then I saw that the man is not ready to fight anybody.
So,
went back
you
to
know,
the chair and started.
God rest his soul. When he passed, I mean, the encomiums that was poured out for him was all about. He was a man of integrity. So when you have a leader like that, who has that stance, and that does not translate. So what is now the problem? How do we now rescue our nation from this dilemma?
God rest his soul. Okay, but why even talk of the economists? From who? Is it from the everyday Nigeria?
I beg to believe that the average Nigeria feels that way.
Okay, yes. As a person, you see, being an upright person or an upright leader is not enough. We have the issue of competence. Do you have the competence to be able to drive the nation for a vision? You don't have it. So President Buhari, with due respect to him, they don't have the competence.
And is Tinubu doing that right now?
Oh, definitely no. Definitely no. With due respect. I mean, there's nothing inspiring as far as I'm concerned about his leadership. Nothing inspiring to say, okay, this country, for example, is running away from corruption. This country wants to behave in a new manner in terms of maybe, for example, frugality in government, reducing government expense, compassion, empathy. I'm not saying that. So the leader must exemplify that. And once you do that, every other person will follow. So I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that with the Tinubu government. They are spending the way they like. They say the country is broke. They don't behave as if the country is broke. So you begin to wonder, where are we going in this country?
Well, we're definitely heading somewhere. Well, that's the much we can take for this particular conversation now. And we'll continue to do our job as media practitioners and journalists, the fourth, estate realm of the polity, and continue to shine the light. So beyond politics now, we're talking about politics, but the truth is beyond politics, things need to change and things need to get better. And I think that is what is very key. Well, I will take a quick breather now. When we come back, we will go to Rivers State and really try to unpack all the build-up towards the controversial local government election. And of course, Barrister Peter is still here with us. He's a lawyer. I would love to get his perspective before we let him go. Do stay with us. We'll be right back shortly.
From Lagos to Lome, Port Harcourt to Accra, LN247 delivers your brand across borders, TV, satellite, and online. We are where your customers are.
For them to, be seen or heard, they have to do something crazy.
Africa is watching. Let them watch you. LN247, where the story goes, we go.
What makes the political system what it is today? What are the recurring issues? The tussle for power.
An extremely problematic area.
The tension. The instability of the system. Join LN247 as we take you inside the local and international political arena in the world of politics.
The golden age of America begins right now. I will very simply put America first.
Watch Politics Now on LN247.
Don't miss Politics Now on LN247.
Politics Now on LN247. If you're just joining us, the conversation we're about to have is one of constitutional clashes, political rivalries, and high stakes for democracy. Let's dive in. We're looking at the Rivers local government elections, democracy on the fire, or a path to stability. Well, Rivers State is a place where fierce controversy over local government elections is threatening to upend democracy in the oil-rich region. For those not following the headlines, these elections, now set for August 30th, 2025, are on the fire due to a state of emergency and legal challenges. It's a high-stakes drama, and we are unpacking all of it tonight. Joining us from Rivers State is Newman Ogbonda, a PDP member and member Governor Sim Fubara's Simplified Movement. And we also have Zoe Solomon Tamunotoye, a developmental activist, national president of the Rivers Emancipation Movement. We have word that Mr. Zoe is live with us. Good evening, Mr. Zoe. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. To have Tamuno Koro Oposunju, analyst. Tamino Toye, are you here with us? Good evening. Thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah, good evening.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right, we'll come back. We'll establish guest. So first, the legality of the August 30th elections are made in rule. Do recall on March 18, 2020, would declare the state of emergency in Rivers, citing a breakdown of public order and safety, appointing Vice Admiral Ibo Kete Ibas as a sole administrator. The Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, RCX, all the 2023 local government areas are on track with primaries completed July 31st and August. Runnings continues, of course, is still on from August 12 to 28, and a possible run off on September 6th. But lawsuits argue this violates Section 7.1 of the 1999 Constitution, which gives states authority over elections. All in Rivers October 2020 elections for irregularities weight to the plaintiff's case. Second, federal state power tensions and political motives, including the River Initiative, and Tinubu's government is using the emergency and Gazette number 125, July 22, 2025, to back FCT Minister Nyesom Wike in his feud with suspended Governor Fubara. An open letter on the 7th of August called it an existential assault on democracy. Meanwhile, 17 parties, including APC, PDP, and Labour Party, are campaigning, and a peace accord by 5 parties aims to cool tensions, but protests in Port Harcourt signals unrest. And third, what is the impact on voters and the risk of violence? Fears of voter disenfranchisement looms large under emergency conditions. IPAC plaintiffs warn of chaos, citing the 2024 annulment as a cautionary tale. RCX voter education was launched August 12th, aims to build confidence, but security concerns persist with the Nigerian police force tasked to prevent violence. The stakes are high for Rivers' 5 million plus voters. Well, Mr. Peter is still live with us in the studio. You're the legal expert. I mean, when we just talked about what needs to change in terms of electing credible leadership. Now, not long ago, we had an election when Fubara was in government, and they spent money to do those elections. And now the president appointed Abasite. Monies have been spent. We're having another election, and they're calling this particular one illegal. So, as a legal mind, how do you present the facts for our audience to make sense, away from the sensationalities now of the conversation?
Yeah. So, in law, there's something we call, there's a principle of law that says you cannot put something on nothing and expect it to stand. In biblical terms, they say if the foundation is faulty, what can the righteous do? The appointment of the sole administrator is unconstitutional. There is nowhere in a constitution where you have the word sole administrator. So that sole administrator does not have the legal backing to conduct a local government election, to appoint members of that River State Electoral Commission. And then what we're having is a furtherance of that illegality, which President Tinubu foisted on the people of River State when he declared that state of emergency and appointed the sole administrator. So everything that is done is illegal. So that election is illegal because he is the one, is the legal occupant of that office that appointed members of the River State Electoral Commission that are going to conduct. We are not saying that in law, those people do not have the locus, the power to conduct that election. So everything they are doing will go to naught. That is my position. That election is a waste of time. It's a rape on democracy, and it should be condemned by all Nigerians.
Okay,
Yes.
we don't know if our guests are live with us. We're expecting Zoe Tamanetoye and also, let's have him up on air. Thank you so much, Tamanokoro, for being with us on the show. And, you know, I'm trying to make do of your political party again. I guess you're still a member of the Labour Party, right?
I'm still a very active member. We have passive and active. I'm a very active member of the Labour Party. Yes, I am.
Okay, so what is your take on this election? Are you participating in it? You just heard the legal expert live with me in the studio talk about the fact that this election is illegal. Is the Labour Party going to partake in this election?
Okay, yes, the Labour Party will be partaking because of a few factors. But I, as a person, I have chosen not to partake in this illegal, unfounded rape to democracy and abrogated constitutional anomaly. Let me speak like a lawyer now, even if I'm not a lawyer, because I read books. But let me talk like a lawyer. I'm sure the lawyer there is smiling at my use of grammar. So,
Absolutely,
so,
he
so,
is.
so personally, in River State, Wike is trying to play with the Labour Party. Play with the Labour Party, I mean, I'm talking for a fact. I'm not using allegedly because I am in the state working committee of the Labour Party in Rivers State. You know, I had contested the last election as a Labour Party chairman in Opobo-Nkoro. And one would have thought that with the opportunity
connection with you. Hopefully, we can have you back to further the conversation. You were actually smiling. He was talking about you. You were smiling. But I mean, you're also a political analyst.
Yes.
You followed the ramblings, you know, the tussling, the House of Assembly members with the governor, with Wike. How do you think all of this has played out in influencing, I mean, the dynamics we've seen that leads up to this election?
From day one, it is clear to everyone, except if we want to pretend that we don't know what is happening. This is simply an attempt to hand over the states to one man, to Mr. Wike, the president, handing over a state to Mr. Wike. And so the sole administrator is here to do the bidding of his appointors, Wike and Mr. Wike and the president. And so you can see the hurry with which they want to ensure the structure, because when Wike came in at first, his main concern with Fubara was the fact that the structure.
But technically speaking,
So it's the structure that he wants to take
he
back.
has the structure now, because we've seen both of them together. They were at that Thanksgiving service.
Yes.
The governor has been quite pro the president,
Yes.
without any, you know, signals or feelings of, you know, insubordination, so to speak. So the speculation rather, or the feeling in our minds were like the president was going to, you know, remove the suspension. But that hasn't played out.
And so what they are trying to do here is to thoroughly, let me use the word, flog the man to line, the governor. They want to tell you we are bigger than you. So they want to make him the most powerless governor you will see in Nigerian history. Powerless. So he will have no single structure. He will have nothing, no control over anybody. Local government chairman will not listen to him. The House of Assembly, nobody will listen to him. I wonder what the type of government he wants to run if he comes back.
Now,
And it would seem that he has also kowtowed to that position. He has surrendered.
I do hope we can have Tamino
surrendered.
Koro back to actually give us feelers, because he's in Rivers State. But if he's back, he'll be up on our screens. But I mean, I'm trying to think in my mind the risk, especially for voters, if these elections proceed. How can they be addressed? Because I mean, a lot of persons, you know, who are so bent on obeying the law, they love, you know, educated persons that will just say, I'm not going to participate in this election. So what are the implications for voters? Do you think they should still go ahead, because the state administrator is still, you know, insisting that these elections will hold, and from the looks of it, it's definitely going to hold. So what's your opinion rather for voters? Do they come out on that day to vote?
What I expect voters to do, my advice to voters who really care about the rule of law, is to boycott that election. Election that is going to be conducted by a sole administrator, somebody you did not vote for, who is doing the bidding of one man. Because participating in that election is that you are giving credence, you are validating that illegality. Citizens should boycott that election. But you know what's going to happen? There's going to be sham voters, people who support Mr. Wike and his group. They will come together. You will see cameramen videoing them and saying, voting was done successfully, the election went free and fair. So two things I want voters to do. Okay, number one, I expect voters to boycott the election. Then secondly, I expect voters, I also expect voters to, some of them should go to court.
They should take the federal government to court.
They should take the state government to court.
So now, could a successful election strengthen Governor Fubara's position against what many have called a federal overreach? Because, you know, advocates will always say your vote matters, your votes count. Can it count for Fubara this time around?
How will it count for Fubara? Fubara is a conquered man. He's conquered now. Fugara is just Fubara. I'm sure he's just praying that let me just come and complete my tenure and maybe get the pension. That former got the humongous criminal pension that he gets. Let me just get it and move on. I think that's what is left for him. I'm not sure he's interested in anything anymore. If he has integrity, this is time for him to resign. If he's not ready to fight for the Rivers people, this is time for him to train the towel. But I'm not sure he wants to do that. I'm sure he just wants to enjoy the bounties of office and move on. But when you even talk of local government election, let's be sincere. It's usually a charade. The elections are usually not free and fair. Have you seen any state where the state that is controlling, the party controlling the state will lose elections? It's usually they clear everything 25. Lagos self, the same 25, I mean, they will clear everything. So that's how they be. So usually, citizens are not usually excited about the local government elections because results are written even before the elections are conducted. But the peculiar nature of Rivers State is that citizens of Rivers State are supposed to insist on their right to choose their leader. The fact that someone can be imposed on them and then that person wants to conduct an election, they should resist it for history's sake, for posterity's sake.
Okay, we need to go on a quick break right now.
Yes.
Let's ensure we polish connections with our guests. It will be very interesting for us to make connections with them joining us from Rivers State. We'll be right back to stay with us.
At Ellen to you.
Is failing to protect Christian.
And from Nigeria, we go to Kenya, where President William Ruto.
It was powerful all over the world.
Local and international news. Every hour, every day.
And the deal was struck.
Here on Ellen 24/7.
The eyes have it.
Would you say he had it coming?
Ellen 24/7. Where the story goes, we go.
From Lagos to Lome, Port Harcourt to Accra, LN 24/7 delivers your brand across borders, TV, satellite, and online. We are where your customers are.
For them to, be seen or heard, they have to do something crazy.
Africa is watching, let them watch you. LN 24/7, where the story goes, we go.
Well, many thanks for still staying with us. Tamnukoro is back. Good to have you back, Tamnukoro. I mean, you're live in Rivers State. We just have a few minutes to wrap up the segment. What is the polls? Are people excited to go out to vote?
People are just like your guests in the studio said. The state governor or the state government always swipe local government elections. For all of us who know elections have been at the local government level since the Fourth Republic of 1999. So don't forget I contested the last local government election in October 5th in Rivers State, like I had earlier mentioned. And the in APP are supported by the government, swept everything, and they decided, to give one councillorship slot different political parties just to appease or to make them feel some kind of way, So people are neither here nor there. But like he said, your guest is not in Rivers State. A lot of things have been happening in Rivers State. When we choose to come out and vote, they write their results. As a matter of fact, which is the truth, in October 5th last year, there were no results on the day of election. I mean, no results. So people doing, you vote, they count your votes from EC2A, that they would impute the results. It was not available. People were still voting on the ground, and they were already calling results. I went to court eventually, and then going to court, who wanted the tribunal judges, who would appoint high court judges to handle your matter. So Nigeria is being Nigeria is just being Nigeria, because if you go to court, what is the hope that you would get justice? So those in River State is, this thing should come and go. People are going to go to, because of all of, remember, today is Thursday, no, today is Wednesday. President Tinubu had already gazetted, allow me to use the word, one rubbish. Permit me to use the word, one rubbish. We have a constitution. Tinubu now has modified that constitution to give the sole administrator the right to impute or impose or not a state independent electoral commission, supposedly independent, which is not independent. Now, the Research authority has also been added that they have the right to also put 30 days notice, as against the constitution that says 90 to 180 days notice. So it means INEC can wake up tomorrow and tell you the national election is happening in just 1 month, and it will happen, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. Now he has gazetted it into law. It means that anybody who wants to go to court is going there at their own peril and the expense of their money. So the point is that I don't know. People are basically, and that's what I can tell you in River State.
Okay, so what are the biggest threats to voter turnout and safety in this climate?
In River State, we're known for regrettable violence. Now looking at what is happening, the governor's camp they are not happy. You have to acknowledge that the simplified family has been dissolved. Part of what they discussed was that they should not use the word simplified, like your guest said. They have really crumbled the structure that the governor had. The governor was already winning. No, he had already won in all spheres. The House of Assembly, all of Wike was, by now would have forgotten who Wike was in River State. But the Supreme Court and the presidency crumbled what was building, what was building. River State was on a trajectory of success. But Wike and the Supreme Court did all they did and crumbled us for their benefit. In the past 5 months, there has been no project, not even water supply, no project at all in River State. We have been crumbled to that point. Remember, we don't have a House of Assembly, we don't have a governor, we only have a sole administrator that is eating, allegedly spending monies that we cannot now account for. So come that day of election, I don't know. I really don't know. But right now, I'm just indifferent, and that's all I can say for now.
Yeah, well, it's quite sad, lamenting over the fact that you don't have your House of Rep members. It's really quite a sad situation. And
House of Assembly.
We can actually hope that the suspension will be called off soon, since the so-called structures of Governor Simlaye Fubara has been crumbled. Well, Tamnukoro, thank you so much. Because of time, we may not be able to go further. But, the elections are coming up on August 30. We will be following the developments, and hopefully we'll get back with you to give us more feedbacks from River State. Thank you so much for joining us on the show tonight.
Anytime.
All right, so let's get back to the conversation in the studio. Barrister Peter is still with us. You had the frustration. No lawmakers in the state and no democratically elected leader in the state. That seems to be something that the Constitution frowns at. The state has been peaceful. The justification for the declaration of a state of emergency in River State was solely due to, the speculations about unrest and all of that. But for a state that has thrived, how do you unpack that as we wind down the conversation?
Like I said earlier on, this is a rape on democracy. And we hope no president would take this route moving forward. This is shameful. It's not something we should be talking about. The fact that, because let us look at it this way. The Constitution, when it talks about state of emergency, also talks about the fact that the federal government the president can also declare a state of emergency on the whole federation. Does it mean when he does that he will suspend himself? So this is an aberration, and with due respect to the Supreme Court has also not helped in this matter. There's a case I heard was filed in the Supreme Court. Up to today, that case, we don't even know what's happening with that case. This type of case are cases that should get quick attention by the Supreme Court, and then we know where we are in this matter. So a situation whereby, because tomorrow, this is a very dangerous precedent that must be dealt with. If not tomorrow, another president comes, go to look at an opposition, instigates what they call violence, and then they declare state of emergency. This is very wrong. This is sad. And Nigerians must condemn it. And I hope Nigerians can punish the current president for doing that. This is a rape of democracy.
Well, we're almost out of time.
Yes.
Thank you so much once again, Peter Ekavo, for being with us on the show tonight.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you for having me.
Yeah, the Rivers elections could either stabilize local governments or ignite further conflict, and Nigeria is watching. Well, that's a wrap for Politics Now. Today, we've unpacked the EFCC's probe of Tambuwal and the Rivers election crisis with our expert insights and voices. I'm Morno Malagbubo. Thank you for joining us, and good night.
From Lagos to Lome, Port Harcourt to Accra,